What is up, and welcome to SGPN's Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog fantasy pick'em plays for October 31st, 2024, aka Halloween. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DailyDog with DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. Lots of sports occurring on this Halloween evening. We've been talking about Thursday Night Football for several days. We got another slip to add to the ledger there for Thursday Night Football. And then also we got a NBA slip and we got an NHL slip. But first let's talk about this football game. But before that, let's quickly talk about the promo code because I know that this show is actually still growing. The podcast feed, again, is getting a couple more people every single day. The amount of people that have actually listened to this podcast has blown my mind. So thank you to everyone who's been listening for the last 108 episodes. This is episode 109. So thanks for supporting it and helping this show grow. And thank you for everyone who's used our affiliate link. The promo code DailyDog, DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app is literally the best promo code I've seen on Underdog. I mean, obviously some of the other SGPN, Sports Gambling Podcast Network shows have similar codes with similar deals. But outside of our SGPN, out of our network, the shows have much lower limits for their deposits. So for us, it is a 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $1,000 if you use that promo code DailyDog, DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the app. And that means if you put anything up to $2,000 on the app, you will get 50% of what you deposited added as bonus funds. So $2,000 becomes $3,000, aka $1,000 bonus. $500 becomes $750 with a $250 bonus. $50 becomes $25 with a $50 becomes $75 with a $25 bonus. So there are lots of ways to do this. I'm not trying to bankroll shame. I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, you got to max it out with a $2,000, take out a loan and do it. But whatever you got, if you're new to the app, use that promo code, take advantage of it because getting that 50% extra really is going to help your chances at making some money on the app and pulling money out instead of just putting money in. Speaking of pulling money out, let's hope we do it because we've been hard at work slaving away over these Thursday Night Football slips for this game between the Jets and the Texans. The ones I gave out yesterday and on Tuesday, I'll hit at the end of this segment. But first, I'm going to start out with what I did today. CJ Stroud to throw an interception. One, I think the Jets are winning this game. I hate saying that out loud. But I don't know, call it a gut feeling, call it a spot, call it a situation. I'm just thinking that a lot is going wrong for the Texans, and the Texans have actually not played too many clean games. Meanwhile, the Jets have had a lot of bad luck with kicking, with some weird turnovers, some missed turnover opportunities. So there's a lot of stuff that I think has gone against the Jets. I think the Jets' defense is still good. They only allowed 248 yards against the Patriots last week and lost. The problem is they allowed 70 yards on the final drive of that game. And ended up losing to Jacoby Brissett cold off the bench. So, there's some issues there, but I still think they can force an interception. CJ Stroud has turned the ball over a little bit more than I think people were expecting. So I like Stroud to throw an interception here. So the pick is higher than 0.5 interceptions based on the projection on Underdog. I've been targeting Davante Adams in all my slips that I've been putting together all week for Thursday Night Football. Higher than 7.5 targets. That's the safest one. Again, Aaron Rodgers says he needs Davante Adams to really make this team go, et cetera, et cetera. You got to trust in the process, everything else. He is going to make Davante Adams work in this game. And I'm not saying, he's going to do it both literally and figuratively. Literally, he's going to make him work. He's going to feed him the ball, and he's going to make it happen because, again, it's just another embarrassment for Aaron Rodgers. If they do, they acquire Davante Adams on a team that already has Garrett Wilson as wide receiver one in the middle of the season, and then they hardly even use him. So, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to be attacking Davante Adams here through the air, hitting him a lot. I mean, let's just get 5-6 targets in the first half and then cruise in the second half here and get that 8th target and get this one done. Last one. We know that there's an injured wide receiver crew for the Texans, and you know that I've got an interception for CJ Stroud. That said, I'm still taking Xavier Hutchinson, who's now a starter for the Texans. If you don't know who he is, he's a second-year player out of Iowa State. 6'3", 210, kind of rangy wide receiver, outside wide receiver. Higher than 19.5 rushing plus receiving yards in this game. I think that he can have 50-plus receiving yards in this game if he's used as I expect him to be. He's that big body guy, kind of like Nico Collins. Obviously, he's not Nico Collins, but He's a lot more Nico Collins than Robert Woods is. Old man Robert Woods is actually probably closer to Stephon Diggs at this point, and obviously he's a shell of that. I think Xavier Hutchinson is going to get enough targets and get enough downfield looks to get over 19.5 yards in this game, no problem. So this is a straight 6x multiplier. CJ Stroud higher than half an interception, Davante Adams higher than 7.5 targets, and Xavier Hutchinson higher than 19.5 rushing plus receiving yards. Again, 6x multiplier, and again, I just love Hutchinson straight up. If you can get 17.5 receiving yards somewhere on a sports betting site, probably look at that. I can't guarantee you the usage for Hutchinson. I really can't. It's kind of all projections at this point because the role has changed dramatically. A lot of people are targeting Robert Mechie as to be the guy. Maybe, but maybe Mechie is more of the Diggs role that I was forecasting Robert Woods would be taking. Again, I think Hutchinson's just physical profile is going to be good, and he's going to be someone that CJ Stroud is going to want to use here. All right, the slip that I gave out yesterday was Aaron Rodgers higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns on this game. Again, I used this in some pick'em slips last Sunday against the Patriots, and he got it in the first half. He's actually passing I mean, there's a lot of people hating on him right now. I actually don't think he's playing that bad, given that he's basically a 40-year-old at this point. And I think that he's trying to silence the haters. He's got a long way to go because he's kind of put his foot in his mouth in a million different ways in the last several years. I mean, even before he came to New York, he was kind of becoming a less popular guy in Green Bay. But I think his skills are still there to an extent. It's not the guy he was 10 years ago, but I think he's still like a top half of the league quarterback. Getting to 2 touchdown passes against this Texans defense at home on Thursday night is definitely in the range of outcomes that I am projecting to happen in this game. Next, I went to Dalton Schultz higher than 4.5 receptions in this game. Dalton Schultz is a guy that CJ Stroud trusts, and again, there's plenty of more receptions to go around without Nico Collins, and now with Stephon Diggs out of that lineup. Schultz hasn't had 5 receptions yet this season. I think this is the perfect game for it. A Thursday night game, just short, easy passes to the tight end. Doesn't take much of a game plan to implement those type of routes. So give me Schultz higher than 4.5 receptions, and Davante Adams higher than 4.5 receptions. I already told you I like him 7.5 targets, 4.5 receptions. Let's get some efficiency, Davante. Get there. This was a 5.28x multiplier yesterday. It's now up to 5.62x because people have been taking the lower than on Dalton Schultz. I disagree with that, but hey, if you want to fade me, feel free to do that. All right, the Tuesday slip. This one we got great value in on Tuesday. It's down over a full multiplier here. So it was Davante Adams to score touchdown. Again, I'm talking about, you've seen the theme in these slips over the past several days, right? Aaron Rodgers having a good day, Davante Adams having a big day. So Davante Adams touchdown, Joe Mixon touchdown. I mean, come on, Joe Mixon is going to be the dude working in the goal line and in the red zone sets. So give me Joe Mixon here. And again, there's just not as many reliable receivers, so they're going to be more apt to use Joe Mixon more often when they're down around that goal line instead of putting it in CJ Stroud's hand and asking him to throw it to the back of the end zone to one of these unproven commodities. The last one was Aaron Rodgers higher than 235.5 passing yards. It's the same theme I've been talking about in every one of these slips. That's actually down a yard to 234.5. I really don't care about going down a yard. It's still basically the same thing. If we lose by a yard, I'll give somebody a SGPN gift card. But I don't think it's going to come in to play here. So that was 8.04x when I gave it out on Tuesday. It's now 6.83x. Still definitely playable. All right. I've talked a lot about NFL. Let's go to the other two sports, the 82ers. NBA. I think the Jazz are in a great spot to get their first win of the season as they host the Spurs on the back of a back-to-back. Lauri Markkanen higher than 22.5 points. Just a good spot for him to do it. Obviously, Wemby, good defensive player, big man inside, so it could be tough. But again, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a high-scoring, looser game, especially with the Spurs coming off a back-to-back. Klay Thompson higher than 19.5 points, plus rebounds, plus assists. His first 3 games of the season, he crushed this number. Last game was leg 2 of a back-to-back, and he stayed way under this number. Guess what? He's had a couple days of rest. The old man is back, and I think that they're going to be able to get some things done against Houston, and I think that he's going to get enough three-pointers to get to 12 points, 15 points on three-pointers alone. The rest of it is just gravy. He's definitely going to get higher than 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Last one, Kevin Durant higher than 26.5 points. After game 1 of the season against the Clippers, who he's playing tonight, he had 25 points in that game. Since that, in the 3 subsequent games, he's had 30 plus points. He's going to do that again against the Clippers here. The man is hot. I'm not going to try to fade a guy who is playing well. All right, NHL slip. Get this one out quickly. Troy Terry of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, higher than half a point. The dude has a point in every game except for game 1 for the Ducks. He's playing against my Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins are absolutely terrible defensively, absolutely terrible from a goaltending perspective. The Ducks are kind of a spunky team. They're not that good, but they're kind of a spunky team. Terry is going to have plenty of opportunities to get a point here. Then we're going to go to Jared McCann to have higher than 0.5 points as well. Jared McCann is another guy who's just been consistently performing and getting stuff done for the Kraken, Seattle Kraken. I think the Seattle Kraken are actually going to win this game up in Toronto. So their leading point scorer is the guy that I am targeting here. Last one, Ryan O'Reilly, leading point scorer of the Nashville Predators. I think the Predators are going to defeat the Edmonton Oilers, who are lacking their man, Connor McDavid. He's the leading point scorer. He's had a ton of multi-point games. He's going to just need to get half of a point here. This is a 5.04x multiplier. The theme of this NHL slip is literally just ride all the hot hands. These are all the guys that have had the best starts of the season on their teams. Obviously, they're not going to stay hot forever, but they're still hot right now, and I'm hoping I don't end that streak. Again, 5.04x multiplier. Thank you for listening, and let's make some money. Happy Halloween.